An important part of cooking in West Africa is using tomatoes, whether they're fresh, tinned, or as a paste. But if you're growing tomatoes, you need to make sure you don't just grow when everyone else is, or you'll probably suffer from very low prices. Staggering production can provide a constant market supply of fresh tomatoes. If you have adequate cultivation expertise, tolerant seed varieties, and accessibility to a water source for irrigating your plants, you have an opportunity for growing tomatoes in a staggered way. You can even incorporate other crops.
The importance of staggered production to us tomato farmers is that it helps to reduce the loss we have when the market is saturated. So that is why we met to come up with this idea of staggered production to avoid experiencing these loss again.
When a group staggers production, they decide between them when the individuals should plant their tomatoes. This is something a group has to decide together. Controlling the water supply is often important in making a success of staggered production.
Irrigation in tomato production is very important, especially when they start flowering, or they will begin to lose flowers and they will not fruit well. It is also important to irrigate when they start fruiting.
The main decision to be taken at meetings is how to organize production. Some meetings plan for different farmers to plant at 1-month intervals, and then change this year by year, so profits equal out over the years. In this example, we have 3 groups, A, B, and C. Other groups pool their income from selling tomatoes and share this equally between members. A group compensation plan should also be agreed by members. Deciding which option is best for your group depends upon local traditions and ways of organizing.
I have them in 3 groups, A, B, and C. So if a farmer in group C has a low price, in the next year they will move to a different group and have a good price.
Once the schedule has been decided at the meeting, it's a case of using your knowledge in tomato growing, whether you're in a group that is planting earlier or later. Identify heat-resistant varieties. Keep a lookout for disease and pest challenges. Make good use of irrigation. And find ways of protecting the plants in very hot weather. The way the group is organized will also have an influence on how marketing is done. First, the decision has to be taken if you're selling for processing at a factory or long-distance market, or if you're selling locally for the fresh market. Whatever the market, the tomatoes still have to be picked well and remove any split or diseased fruits. For the long-distance market, pick at the turning stage so that they can be packed well for transporting to the city and ripen on the journey. After harvesting, it's important for the whole group to discuss what they have learned from their experience and to help avoid problems for next year. By working as a group, you may have some options for storing the tomatoes, like using a zero-energy cool chamber if the price is really low. But normally this will only give 10 to 20 days extra before the tomatoes need to be sold.
I will advise farmers on the significance of what we have done with staggered production, because it helps to reduce losses.
So what have we learned? The whole aim of staggering production is to reduce post-harvest loss and have tomatoes to sell over as long a period of time as possible. This helps to avoid selling when there's a glut of tomatoes on the market. Having a source of water which can be well managed is important when you're producing tomatoes in the dry season. The group must also decide how to plan the planting and whether the overall income and marketing should be shared. Working together really can mean winning together.